Hey guys, this is Bradley here, and welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Review Zone. And I'm here to take you through the Gaming Pixel Show's in-depth video review of Giana Sisters' Twisted Dreams on the Wii U eShop. Interestingly enough, Twisted Dreams is actually the third entry in a series that had its start way back on the Commodore 64 in 1987, with a little game known as the Great Giana Sisters. And because it was similar to Nintendo's Super Mario Bros., it actually attracted some legal attention. So needless to say, it's got some history. But in this third installment, you maneuver around luxurious and creepy dreams as Giana as you attempt to rescue your sister in distress who has been sucked up into the dream world and abducted by a giant, plump, fire-breathing dragon. Giana is now a teenager, so she's at the point in her life where she is kind of, transforming. So with that, she has developed the ability to manipulate her dreams, and that is where the main gameplay mechanic lies. Giana Sisters is very true to what it is, so you'll find plenty of platforming and well-timed jumps. But to throw you a curveball, Giana can turn into a cute and punk version of herself that can do completely different things that you'll need to fully utilize and understand as you search for your sister. With the simple press of a button, you can zoom back and forth between these two personas at any given moment, and there will be plenty of that. Cute Giana will be able to twirl around like a helicopter with her hair, thus allowing her to slowly float through the air and clear larger gaps. While pink and purple punk Giana goes all out with a fiery dash attack that is actually reminiscent of Sonic the Hedgehog's homing ability, and that allows you to make a chain reaction by bouncing off enemy noggins to reach higher altitudes, and it's actually pretty satisfying when you manage to pull it off. The twirling ability works quite swell, but the dash attack didn't turn out as well as I would have liked. It only works in 8 directions, so I found that using the 360-degree moon of the joystick would cause problems with precision, so I would actually resort to using the D-pad, which really isn't that big of a deal, but it's something to note. I would also find that sometimes it wouldn't home in on enemies, resulting in you flying right over them and falling to your death. At least the game has numerous checkpoints throughout the levels because you're going to die. A lot. Twisted Dreams actually has a really high difficulty, and I died hundreds of times throughout my journey of all 3 worlds. And don't even get me started on the 3 boss battles. Those babies will give you a run for your money. Having a high difficulty in the game is not necessarily a bad thing, in that it makes the players much more involved in what's going on. But sometimes they just need to tone it down somewhat, and that could have been helpful here in Giana Sisters. I did manage to beat the game on normal, albeit I did get super frustrated at times. Oh, and the game also suffers from lengthy load times between levels, which, as you would probably guess, isn't the most enjoyable thing to experience. Besides all that though, the scope of each stage is actually quite vast, and there's plenty to do. You won't just follow down a linear path to the goal at the end, but instead it encourages you to investigate and search for minor cracks in walls or other alcoves where secrets are waiting to be discovered. And let's just say there are plenty to be found, and well, they're actually pretty hard to find. I would think that I did a thorough search of the whole level only to find out that I missed some hidden place somewhere where more gems were hidden. So you really have to keep a watchful eye if you're trying to 100% this game. Visually, Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams looks quite impressive for an eShop title, with some pretty detailed and polished environments. The dreams will have you jumping back and forth between a happy, cheerful environment to a nightmarish wasteland of red, and that happens every time you switch between cute and punk Giana. I did notice some framerate issues, especially during the last sequence of the game with the final boss, but it isn't necessarily a big deal. On the flip side, the music is pretty impressive as well, albeit somewhat limited. Just like the environmental changes, the music will change as well whenever you do the old switcheroo with Giana, resulting in a more electric guitar heavy or softer version of a particular song. And it isn't too jarring considering you switch personas quite frequently. It all meshes together pretty well. If you manage to flex your platforming prowess through the main story, there's still much to do. Each level has a score or time attack mode, so you can try to beat the default high scores. And if the normal difficulty wasn't tough as nails already for you, there is even a hardcore in uber hardcore setting. Yeah, I know. Hardcore features no checkpoints during levels, while uber hardcore will punish you by sending you all the way back to level 1 if you die. Once. Have fun with that. Plus, there are all those delicious gems to find sprawled throughout each level if you're up for 100% in each stage. So in all, you've got plenty to do. If you're looking for a game to satisfy your love for 2D platforming and that will keep you on your toes with this Nintendo hard difficulty, take a gander at Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams on the Wii U eShop. Even though I wasn't too fond with how the dash mechanic worked and the long load times between levels, you will find plenty to do in this game that will keep you playing for hours. So, thegamingpixelshow.com is awarding Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams with a 4 out of 5. But that will bring us to the end of yet another review. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up and add your favorites and all that good stuff, and you can stay tuned for some more reviews, That's Nintendo Crazy episodes, and news videos. But I'll talk to you later in the next video, guys. Bye!